I mean, he quite literally has greener grass than I do, and you can see, and if you can tell where your grass ends and your neighbor's nice lush green grass begins, that's how you know, right? Because there's no artificial barrier. It's not like there's a wall in between their grass and mine, right? It's just there's just like my stuff. It's just like all raggedy and like has some brown in it, and so I'm looking at his grass, like literally when I sit outside my window, I look downwind from me, and I'm like, this mother, how does he get his shit so damn green? And I'm like, every year, here I am. I'm going to Home Depot and picking up stuff and just tossing on there. Like literally, I have no clue what I'm doing. And then one day I was like, you know what, Johnny? Rather than watching YouTube videos about people's grass that might really have nothing to do with yours, how about you go talk to your neighbor? Say, hey, neighbor, I noticed that your grass is really nice, really green. I'd like to have similar, looking grass. What do you do to yours? And he proceeded to tell me exactly what he does at different times of the year, so that when spring comes around, the grass is healthy. Things start growing, and he's basically on maintenance mode. He's not doing it. Like I don't see him. I just see him out there mowing his lawn, and every once in a while I see him spray some stuff. I'm like, what is that you got there? Like, what are you doing over there, right? So he's literally like he understood his grass. He was like, hey, so call this company. They're gonna analyze your soil. In this part of the country, the soil tends to be got some red clay in it. This and that. So he started like telling me, right, why my grass is the way it is, because he had the experience to understand the land. He understood the soil. Obviously he's owned his house. He's an older gentleman. He's owned his house a lot longer than I have, and he understands the area, right? So, and I realized, okay, I thought I knew what I was doing, but I didn't know what I was doing. Now these days, my grass is a lot greener. Still nowhere close to what his is, but I've got fewer patches in my lawn, right? Fewer brown spots, right? And I think it's the same thing with software, right? Like we think we know what we need to do, right, to fix the brown patches, but that's just hubris, right? We're just arrogant, right? We just think like the person who goes home and comes back after the weekend with a whole new data model, right? Like we think we know, right? We don't ask the people who have been there for a while. Says, hey, so why is this the way it is, right? And if we only sat down and listened, right, we would start to pick up and understand why things are the way they are, and figure out how to move it forward, how to change it, and realize we're not going to do it overnight. It takes time, right? Multiple years, right? As it took my grass. It took me like 3 years to get it to where it is now, right? But it took me asking and being humble and saying, you know what, I don't know the history of this, right? Can you tell me, right? Can you help me out here? Can you help me understand what I don't understand? I think it's the same thing. I think if you're gonna go into a brownfield project and it's new to you, right? Rather than going in guns blazing and saying, "Oh, I know how to engineer software. I'm gonna architect this. I'm gonna do what y'all couldn't do," right? That's just arrogance, right? Just slow down, ask around, talk to the business analysts, talk to engineers that have been there for a while. Heck, if I'm feeling adventurous, I might even call people who no longer work there, because they'll be like, "Man, I couldn't deal with this. I tried to do what you're doing now, and nobody was moving. I had to." That's the data point too, right? So, understanding and having humility, right, I think is necessary to dealing with these long-lived brownfield projects.